An ant climbs a leaf. It bites down. It never lets go, not even after it dies. Somewhere in a rainforest, that ant just stopped being itself. It is still alive. It still moves, but it is no longer in control of its own legs. Something else is driving now. This is not science fiction. It is happening right now in jungles all over the planet, and the way it works is stranger than any horror writer dared invent. Stick around till the very end, because the last part of this is not about the ant. It is about your brain, and there is a real chance it is already inside you. Here is the first detail that makes scientists uneasy. The thing controlling this ant never touches its brain, and that is exactly what makes it terrifying. Let us start at the beginning. A single spore lands on a carpenter ant. It germinates. It punches through the armored shell and slips inside the living body. The culprit is a fungus called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. It spreads through the ant from within, but it skips the one organ you would expect it to seize first, the brain. So how do you puppet a body without controlling the mind that runs it? David Hughes in his lab at Penn State went hunting for the answer. They sliced infected ants apart and looked inside. What they found broke the textbook. The fungus had wrapped itself around the muscle fibers throughout the body, not in scattered patches, in one connected three-dimensional web, like a puppeteer threading strings through every limb. The brain sits there untouched, which means the ant may still be perceiving the world while its body is driven from the outside. But that raised a darker question. If the fungus is not in the brain, how does it know exactly when to make the ant climb? The answer is the part the fungus has been building toward. At a precise moment, the ant leaves the colony and climbs down. Not anywhere. It stops on a leaf around 25 centimeters off the ground. It turns to a consistent direction. Then it bites the main vein with everything it has, and the jaw locks. The grip holds even after death. That height, that humidity, that angle, it's the perfect greenhouse for the fungus to grow. The ant found the best place in the whole forest to die, except the ant chose nothing. And it gets worse. Days pass, then a stalk erupts straight out of the dead ant's head. It grows up through the skull like an antenna, and from the tip it rains spores onto the trail below. A graveyard of locked jaw corpses hangs over the path, each one a launcher aimed at the living. Now here is the twist that proves how old this war is. Against most fungi, ants fight back. They smell the sick and drag them far from the nest. But this specialist learned to hide. It betrays no obvious symptoms until it is too late. Then it climbs out of reach and bites anyway. This is an arms race written across millions of years, and the fungus is winning. By now you are thinking, good thing I'm not an ant. Hold that thought, because there is a puppeteer that does this trick on a mammal with a spine and a far bigger brain, and a third of you may be carrying it right now. Look at a house cat. There's a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii. It can only breed inside a cat's gut, but it often gets stuck in the wrong animal, a rat, a mouse. So it does something almost evil. It rewires the rodent and erases its instinctive fear of cats. A 2000 study by Burdoy, Webster, and MacDonald at Oxford showed something stranger still. The smell of cat urine, the single most dangerous scent a mouse can detect, became attractive. The rat sprints toward the thing that will eat it. The cat feeds, and the parasite gets its ride home. So here is the part I promised you. Toxoplasma does not stop at rodents. It infects humans too. Roughly 1/3 of all people on Earth show evidence of it, usually with no obvious symptoms. You may be carrying it as you watch this. Today, your warm body is a wall the ant fungus cannot climb. That's the real reason The Last of Us stays fiction. For now, but Toxoplasma already crossed the species line long ago. In rats, the hijacking is proven. In humans, it is only a correlation. Scientists have linked it to subtle shifts in risk-taking, and the debate is fierce. So tell me in the comments, would you take a test to find out if you are a carrier? And subscribe, because the next thing rewriting behavior without permission is even harder to believe. Then remember the ant under that leaf, jaws locked in the perfect spot to die. It thought it was in control too.